Which player shall fall down to Challenger? We shall find out in just a second, but we'll also find out who advances on to play against TLO. It's going to be a PvP. It's going to be Mr. TAiLS going up against Mr. MaNa.
That's right. I think TAiLS is... I think he may be in trouble in this series. And I'll explain that in a second. As you do see both players on screen, MaNa currently ranked a little bit higher than his opponent, just by a little bit, 64 to 108, currently in the WCS Global round. But remember, this is TAiLS' first appearance in Premier League. He hasn't had that luxury which MaNa had earlier on in the Season 1, where he got the chance to play into Premier League. But now talking about these two players going head-to-head against each other, I think, especially because MaNa watched a lot of MLG this weekend, and one of the builds that I think he's going to pick up on is Naniwa's one-gate expansion play. And I think this is maybe what he'll try to do. And then I don't think TAiLS will do the same. I think TAiLS may play aggressive against that. And that's where I think MaNa's strengths may lie, if that's the case, if that's how it plays out. We've seen how TAiLS played earlier on. Very aggressive, super aggressive to a certain extent. If MaNa accepts, defends and soaks in that kind of aggressive play, then I think he's going to come out this as a winner. But it's PvP, anything can happen.
It certainly can. As you said, though, we have seen that one-gate expand be extremely successful in PvP thus far. And if TAiLS does want to go for the aggression, he's going to have to do so well with his aggression. It's going to have to be executed so well. But you were alluding to slight vulnerabilities in a one-gate expansion previously, I believe. I
mean, I think the biggest... It doesn't have that many weaknesses, but the biggest one is like a proxy Stargate or a proxy double gateway early on if you're not scouting or something along those lines. But a Stargate can be dangerous about it. It depends, though, if, for example, you go for a double sentry play, or if you go single sentry and start a Stalker early, or have Stalkers in your mineral line, saying that as long as I have one force field, I don't need 2 or 3. As long as I get the first one down, if he's coming up at me, I can bring units to the front. I don't need to have units always at the front if I have a single force field. I buy myself time. So it really depends on how the players play it out, whether MaNa does something along those lines or not, if TAiLS is even aggressive or not. I mean, we kind of said that all the time against MMA, but he was every time, so we'll see.
Newcoat Precinct will be our first map to kick things off here in this PvP between Mr. MaNa and TAiLS. And MaNa, this is one of his strongest matchups right now in Heart of the Swarm. 56% win ratio as we jump in to kick things off. Spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our red Protoss, we have none other than MaNa. And spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner as our blue Protoss, we have MVP TAiLS.
Well, let's find out who's going to advance through. We've got a Korean MMA making his way through first place here today in Group C with an incredible performance against TAiLS and against TLO.
All right. I alluded to the fact that MaNa's PvP was pretty good statistics-wise.
Yeah.
But TAiLS, since the start of Heart of the Swarm, in terms of maps, he has 18 wins, 9 losses, 67%. In series, 73%. So, pretty good aggression from TAiLS in PvP.
I think the reason for his high percentage is because in the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, the style of Protoss versus Protoss was very aggressive.
That's true.
3 gateways, 3-gate mothership core, proxy oracle, all aggressive builds were the styles of PvP. But nowadays, I believe that it's all going to be one-gate expands. Or at least, maybe around that. We saw the success of Naniwa with that style. I think MaNa is a player who would jump on an economic build in a heartbeat if one's viable. So if that's the recent style of Protoss versus Protoss, is defensive, not aggressive, then TAiLS will not have the same success rate, I don't believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we shall see. We shall see as MaNa here opens up with 1 gas. Meanwhile, over at the other side of the map, we have TAiLS already opening things up with a double gas. So there is certainly potential for him to tech up and get things going. Curious to see how many he puts in there. 3 already in 1 gas. So, and then 2 in the next.
So
there, 3.
3 and 2, is that what it is?
3-3 now.
3-3.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3-3, that is a sign of tech really, really fast here. The difference between, having 2 gases and 1 at the start is not that much different because MaNa should be throwing down a 2nd gas anyway.
Yeah.
But here's a proxy Stargate coming in right outside MaNa's base. One of the things that may happen on this map, which I think we'll see MaNa do, is scout okay, scouting with the probe. That's a good start because he sees no third pylon.
Yeah.
He's going to look, or no, he sees no second pylon, sorry.
Which
So,
is a huge tell.
Upon seeing no second pylon, I build a mothership core pretty soon as you're ready, and I send it left. And then you see it. I think MaNa's going to have a sniff to what's going on here.
Yeah, certainly. This could be very, very good here for MaNa. He should be able to read accordingly into it. He throws down another pylon here. Chronos boosting out that next that mothership core so he can gather up that energy.
A Stalker's been chrono boosted out too. The mothership core will go left and the Stalker's
Rallied instantly.
perfect. Like, that's the reaction of a top Protoss player there. Sees no second pylon, says, all right, well, where's he going to proxy a Stargate? Yeah, they're outside my main base. Perfect scouting there by the mothership core. He's going to try and target down the pylon. And he does have a Zealot coming to unpower it too, with a probe.
Wow. Well,
can he unpower it here?
I think he's going to have to combat the Zealot as well. But with the mothership core there, if he turns around and starts focusing down the probe, and he goes for the Zealot as well, no, I don't think he's going to underpower it because the mothership core comes as well. That's going to kill off the Zealot, and the second pylon will end up finishing.
But he already has a Stalker ready, and a second Stalker being crossed about with a second gateway.
Wait a minute, he went for a Void Ray.
Yeah, Void Ray, not Oracle here. I think he realizes that because it was scouted so early, Oracle's never going to work here. So he's going to try and combat this with a Void Ray, and he's even added on a... oh, no, he's not, sorry. I thought he was adding on additional gateways. I think he should be adding on additional gateways, though. Oh, he's such a low probe count, such 15.
Yeah,
it's going to be Void Ray Mothership Core here. A third Stalker can turn around and fight this once charges down.
This is going to be very interesting to see how this is going to work on out. Third
Photon
Stalker's going to come along
overcharge.
as well. He gets the Photon Overcharge. The Void Ray has to get out of range. It's not going to in time, and it does go down. Not a single Stalker died, only the Mothership Core. And TAiLS is in a catastrophic position.
Again, TAiLS with the cheese, and I think you guys should message Maximus Black when cheese fails because he's got a couple of replays ready to go in this series.
He does.
You know, you've got 3 Stalkers out, a 4th on the way, 3 gateways with Chronomus going into the Cybercore. MaNa's going to just... MaNa, at this position, can either just defend or just go and attack.
Yeah.
Both. I'd probably say defending for a while now is better. I'd even go as far as saying to get a Twilight Council down.
Dude, I don't know if it exists, but When Cheese Fails Pro Edition could be out soon. MaNa now, he has a pylon over the other side of the map to open maybe a few Zealots to go for the aggression himself. He has a pylon in his opponent's main base.
I think that he was planning on moving across with the Stalkers and then said, do I really need to go with my Stalkers or can I just use my Zealots aggressively? I think that's what he's going to do. The Void Rays are always going to be a threat. So MaNa will always want to keep his Stalkers at home, especially because there's a second one. I agree. He's going to warp in Zealots on that pylon inside his opponent's main base when he feels comfortable that he can defend. Probably as he nears that, he's got a Guardian Shield now coming up with that Sentry, and then he's got 20 energy away from a Photon Overcharge his main Nexus.
Sean, how many times have you seen this particular build?
I think it was definitely planned to be an Oracle build, which I've seen a lot, but he's trying to adapt to this scenario, and I haven't seen this, but it's not working out too well. Void Ray, I mean, not Void Ray, Zealots inside his main mineral line. He's got 1 gateway, which isn't Warp Gate. He can't build any units.
We didn't even get Warp Gate.
No, he completely cut it.
Yeah. Well, TAiLS goes in once again. Photon Overcharge on that. Will kill off the Mothership Core, but there's going to be so many Stalkers here very soon, and those Void Rays get caught completely out in the open. One goes down, so does the second. There you go, GG.
Didn't work. It's the moral of TAiLS' day. It didn't work here. And I think that MaNa played that out perfectly. I think the thing is, we praise how well MaNa played that out. I think you could have played that out very similar. I think I would have done the same, and any other Protoss player too. I think that was a very obvious play to make.
Yeah.
But I think what TAiLS was hoping on, which happens a lot in PvP, is that a Protoss player doesn't scout with a probe because he's very greedy. He tries to rush up. A 1-gate Nexus doesn't involve a probe scout very often. The build that Naniwal uses, I don't think he did. So he's hoping on something for his build to work there.
Yeah. I think the moral to take away for Protoss players out there going into PvP, count your opponent's pylons if you're going to go for that scout in their main base. Because if you see a discrepancy somewhere, something's going on the map. Something is going on. A MaNa textbook, a 101 textbook, just instantly shuts that down.
I mean, against Terran players, when you go proxy Stargate, there's 2 locations. It could be the one that we saw, or it could be closer to the natural, because you're expecting a Terran player to take 2 bases. But a Protoss player is always usually going to be on 1, and even if he has a second, there's not going to be any probes down there for a long time. So it's usually always going to be right outside the main. Newkirk, very simple map to hide a proxy, very simple to likewise scout too, which is why MaNa made that look so easy.
Well, game number 2, Belshir Vestige, will be on the way as MaNa currently 1-0 up. If he wins the second map, he will go on for the rematch against TLO, which might go a little bit crazy once again. MaNa had a bit of a hard time against TLO, but either that or TAiLS ties things up and advances on afterwards, which would be crazy, even more so. So we go into game number 2 here, spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our blue Protoss. We have none other than MVP TAiLS. And spawning up to the top left as our red Protoss, fighting for foreigner pride here, he is MaNa.
I think if I was to describe MaNa's playstyle, and I've actually had this discussion with Artosis before, when he has this weird mindset where he believes he needs to counter-build his opponent a lot. For example, the tournament series that he played and won against Amaga, every game was a blind counter at DreamHack. Zealot Archon versus Ling Heavy style. Game 1 against TLO today was a blind counter versus Ling Heavy play and got shut down hard. I believe when MaNa falls into this mind frame, he's a weak player. When he plays normal without this mindset, he's probably one of the best Protoss players there is.
You mean because there's no deviations once he sets his mind to something?
Once he just plays normal, doesn't get caught up in mind games and trying to counter-build his opponent, which he does a lot, then I think he's one of the best Protoss players. But he does fall to that trap a lot. In this series, did he try to blind? He doesn't. How can he blind counter a player that's playing cheesy? You can't. You just play normal and see what he's doing. That's where MaNa's going to play his best, and I think because of this, he's going to win this series 2-0.
And if he does end up winning this 2-0, going into a match like TLO, do you feel that he will be far more suited to play that kind of reactionary style?
You know, if we put the card down, which is Coach Apollo card again.
Coach Apollo.
From Mouse Sports, I would say cut the crap, don't try anything fancy, play normal. That's my word. That would be my honest words to MaNa. Play normal, don't try to blind counter him, play normal.
Well, we'll see if MaNa's able to take this 2-0 and then advance on to that final series, as today has gone pretty quick thus far.
It's
pretty quick.
And TAiLS is already in gas with 3 on one and a single one on the other, but I'm sure he'll get into that very shortly. Or maybe not. Okay, he is going to go into that shortly. But MaNa, again, very early Probe Scout. And I think the Probe Scout, more so than any other game before, is very simply he's playing against an aggressive player who would like to see his gas income and his pylons. In this game, it's not the fastest of gas. He didn't get into 3 immediately. He's even in 4 on 1, but
then he brings it out.
Yeah. He has, though, TAiLS hidden his 3rd pylon, which MaNa will be looking for. So I think this is mind game. Show 3 in gas, hide a 3rd pylon, hopefully trick MaNa into playing ultra defensive while doing something else.
And that Mothership Core is being rushed out here for MaNa. So no Chrono Boost on it just yet, as he doesn't actually have that to there go. But he does throw that down in the end. So there is a slight kind of inkling here for MaNa to try and play.
He's actually not faking it. He's built a Twilight Council.
Whoa. Okay, then. Is he going to go Dark Templars? Or is he going to actually go for Blink?
I would say Blink.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm going to go the other end of the spectrum and say, because it's TAiLS.
All right, we'll see. He does like his Dark Templars, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he hasn't sent a probe down there just yet. We'll see.
I can't believe he's hidden down there. I really believed it was mind games. I honestly believed it was mind games, that he was going to fool this and force MaNa into ultra, defensive and Chrono Boost not units scouting all over the map.
Come on, TAiLS, give me the probe. Give me the probe. It's not going. It's going to be Blink. Damn. Oh, well. So, yep, TAiLS throwing down that Blink. Should get 2 gateways off the back of this as well, whilst he produces them Stalkers and then tried to make this work out. But MaNa, he is going for what looks like a 1-gate expand.
I think, he's going to go 1-gate expand here. And he's still trying to find out what's going on. I think that the Blink, the reason why I said Blink over DTs, a DT play, one of the most defensive structures in Protoss vs. Protoss is a robotics facility.
Yeah.
And until you get a high immortal count, Blink is always going to be better against everything else. DT is very vulnerable, Stargate as well. I feel that the Blink is better in this case, but MaNa's
dancing around.
He is dancing around. TAiLS with a 3rd Stalker is going to clean up. Oh, I think he could have hit that.
I think he could have as well. Yeah, he could have killed that. But at the same time, I mean, whilst this damage is being done, I would have liked to have seen a Dark Shrine. Every time I see a Twilight Council, I just love to see a Dark Shrine because it makes things quite suspenseful. But
I think the 5 probes went down there by MaNa. That's quite a lot of kills. And that even forces him to pour 1 out of gas because he's not got the highest mineral income. Therefore, he can't produce a lot of Stalkers. But the key in defending what's going on here, and unfortunately for MaNa, because he's played defensive, is sentries. He only has one. His Mothership Core is at home or is it out? But it doesn't have 100 for the Photon Overcharge.
Yeah.
So he could lose the Nexus very easily here. He can hold himself inside his main base because he's got 2 sentries now. But his Immortal's a long way away because he had it on 2 to 3 gateways before. And the Photon Overcharge is not ready. So I think MaNa's going to lose his natural.
I think with the Mothership Core against an aggressive player in Protoss versus Protoss, you have to be super conservative about where you're spending the energy. Ooh, it blinks one of the S-Stalkers on, and he will actually blink up with the entirety of them as well. A cool little trick there for TAiLS to actually grant him vision of that early on, so preventing the Force Field from denying that. And MaNa forced to pull all his probes off the line. He's trying to get in those warp gates as well, but TAiLS doing a very, very good job early on.
Oh, MaNa messed that up, man. You've got to hit the Force Field before the units get up there. And again, that's going to be a thing there. He does do it this time, but he saw the units by the Nexus. That's why I said, oh no, that's a very, classy mistake there from MaNa. Photon Overcharge still not ready. He's going to lose a Nexus. He can defend his main base, but behind this, I go ahead and kill the Nexus and expand.
Guaranteed loss of that Nexus. A bit annoying here for MaNa. There was an attempt at a blink up there for TAiLS with one Stalker, knowing that his opponent's army is super vulnerable to how many units he actually has. Will he try go for the one blink again? He tries, but does not get it, just barely.
Yeah, this is I think a time to expand here for TAiLS. Contain his opponent.
Oh, the Zealots, they provide the vision. There was a little bit of a gap, and there you go. GG game number 2. TAiLS, a sneaky chap, but makes it work. Well done by him.
Yeah, I didn't actually think he was going to squeeze a Zealot in there. I thought MaNa would have, kept the force fields down, and at that point, you're never going to break in. I guess the Mothership Core was coming up too. I kind of forgot about that. I would have given him range too.
Yeah, that would have.
So that makes more sense for TAiLS to go for the kill, but I like how that game played out. I like this PvP series. It's very straight to the point, but it's a pretty cool, critical PvP series watching.
I like the straight to the point. It's very apt for this, as TAiLS ties things up 1-1. And MaNa now, both of these players, they're on the verge of advancing or being eliminated from Premier, and that's not a good position to be in.
I can't believe we're coming down to this. TAiLS and MaNa. Remember, TAiLS is still, for me, is the guy with the tomato. Is it tomato or strawberry?
I think it's tomato.
Because Team Liquid's, Liquipedia, says strawberry.
Does it?
But I always thought it was a tomato.
It kind of looks like a tomato to me as well.
I always thought tomato. Guys, make sure to hashtag WCS and let us know strawberry or tomato. I really thought tomato, but I'm pretty sure if you look on TAiLS' Liquipedia on teamliquid.net, it says based on a strawberry. I always thought tomato. Because there's actually, I'm not sure if you have it in the countries you're from, but from IKEA, there's the tomato chairs. Yeah. Right? I used to have one. What? I used to have a tomato chair. It was great.
I'm going to start crying.
I sat on the green leaf, or whatever you want to call it. I broke you down.
MaNa's a cool Protoss. Don't do it, please.
This guy's lost it.
I just don't get it.
What, you don't get the hair or the chair? The hair or the chair?
I'm going to say the chair, but I don't mean it.
All right. The hair. And it is very bad hair. It is a polite way to put it, Claris. I know you're very judgmental like Wolf on the different hairstyles. I even gelled my hair to the side just for you today.
Someone have a tissue?
I do not. I'm sorry. You bear with us right now. But the next map is going to be Star Station. There may be tissues in this room though, from what I've been heard, Claris. So,
fantastic. Great.
Stay with us. Hold tight as we get ready for the next map between TAiLS and MVP.
All right. I'll try and get back into it. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner as our blue Protoss. I don't know why it tickled me so much. He's got some cool hair. He is MVP TAiLS. And spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner as our red Protoss, we have MaNa.
I actually haven't played that many PvPs on this map. I've been playing a lot of Protoss recently. A lot. I've played 50-odd games in the last few days. I know that's not a lot compared to a pro player, for sure. But I think I've played a lot, and I really haven't played that many on this map. But I still think the same theory applies here, where one gateway expand is very good. But I would not be surprised to see TAiLS do something again.
Do you think we'll see Blink play, considering the architecture of this map?
Possible. But the thing is with Blink play, I guess the Mothership Core could be used to blink into the main.
Yeah. I've seen it once or twice.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe because of the architecture, it may see Blink. maybe.
It's
definitely possible.
Yeah, it definitely is. This gateway now goes down for both of these players, and we'll see. I think TAiLS probably takes the double gas again. I don't think he changes from that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The thing is with double gas, it doesn't need to be aggression. It just shows that I can be aggressive. So I definitely think double gas is just, it suits TAiLS, right? It is TAiLS.
Yeah, it is. And there we go. There's that double gas on the way. MaNa, meanwhile, gets his single and scouts straight across the map. This is ESL, or WCS, Star Station, so it is cross positions in force. So MaNa knows exactly where to go from the very word go. And TAiLS already positions a pylon in the very bottom of his base here, just to, you know, keep himself aware of what's going on in the entirety of his main.
Yeah, he's got to be super careful because this is the deciding point. It's one apiece in this series. It's do or die for both players. You are going to Challenger League. It's that simple. It's like when you're in jail and is it convicted or whatever it is. It's the stamp. It's like Challenger League. The WCS product manager Kennegat actually has a player profile for everyone. Yeah. And at the end of the day, he stamps Premier or Challenger League. And one of these players is facing the stamp Challenger League. It's
an efficient system that Kennegat swears by, and it works. I mean, MaNa and TAiLS now, they're on the verge here of getting that Challenger stamp.
Yeah.
Kennegat's got it posed over the files as we speak.
So there's the Twilight Council inside the main base, and the probe comes in, and it's already seen the pylon down south. I would not be surprised if he goes down and checks. Yeah. Very simply, Twilight Council. Again, I would, you know, I believe DTs again. In this position, though, as MaNa, what do you do? I mean, do you try to go for a one-gate robo and try to get Immortals out nice and early? Do you try to get a defensive, slower blink of your own? I'm interested to see his option here.
I think one-gate robo, I would like to see the robo go down from MaNa.
Or what he could do is throw down double gateways.
You think?
And try to pressure before it even gets out there. That's something else he may try. I mean, he's already got a probe on the map, which can use. He's got a Zealot Stalker Mothership core. Okay, Robo, you nailed it.
That's the Robo. Well, it's going to be a cool option here from MaNa, but I liked where you were going. I would have loved to have seen double gateway go down. Even bringing a Mothership core with it to just grant you that high ground vision and try and get up that ramp would be a pretty fantastic position, I think.
Yeah. No, it is a good position for sure for him, as we do have a bit of an engagement between these two players. As Blink now on its way. I guess, you know, he could have gone 3-gate pressure, but if you remember the stamp, is that if you try that and you don't succeed, DTs could kill you. But now he actually pokes in with the Mothership core there, spots the Blink, knows exactly what he's playing against. We will see Chrono Boosted out Immortals, and we will see a he'll stay on one base a while.
Yeah. I like what MaNa's doing up to the top left, though, keeping a probe on the map so that he can eventually throw down a pylon, maybe warp in a few Zealots when he knows his opponent's going to be aggressive. He's getting Blink. He's got a few more gateways on the way. Did he see the gateways? Well, yes, he saw 2 of them, so he knows 100% that his opponent's going to be knocking on his door very, very soon.
He wants to try to keep the Zealot alive. That's actually a crucial part of the defense, so he does manage to do that. Warp Gate research seconds away from MaNa. The first Immortal and second queued up. First one's coming in. He actually cancelled the second queued up one. I think he may try to warp in another Sentry and a couple of Stalkers or a couple of Zealots probably. Because if you blink up the ramp to try to pick off the Immortal, Zealots will kill you. But he has to be careful of that one little blink move. Remember that. MaNa doesn't know about it yet. If he doesn't pull this off, one Stalker pose in position.
It's in position.
Oh, nice, nice.
Very good. We'll delay that for just a little bit. It's Chrono Boosting out a second Immortal. 2 Immortals in this comp makes it all the harder to blink up onto that high ground. You do, sure, you might be able to take down one Immortal, but there's always that second one raining down havoc on those Stalkers. And TAiLS has to be very careful about what he opts to do.
So, he missed the blink. He missed the blink. No, he didn't. Okay. So he's got Phone Overcharge activated. Second Immortal. Very good. Good position here for MaNa.
Yeah, he might lose a Sentry there, but he's actually going to try and focus down one of those Immortals. He should be able to bring it down. No, he does not get the kill. He took a lot of extra damage there. That Immortal is now free to recharge a lot of shields.
And MaNa's comfortable. He warps in 2 Zealots to do the counter-attack. The pylon that's on the natural. And he's got Phone Overcharge. He always have another one. Because he never had to use recall. He has once this is over, he has another one and a 3rd Immortal. This is perfect here for MaNa.
Yeah, it really is here. MaNa doing quite a bit of damage to these probes to kick things off, and actually we'll have to pull back just a second there whilst TAiLS does have a Zealot to try and tank that out, but 3 Zealots posing a huge, huge threat to that one. How many probes has he actually lost? 4. And a fifth will go down as well. So a good counter assault here by MaNa. TAiLS, he has to do something now. If he doesn't make it work, he's in a catastrophic position.
Yeah, he's gonna die here. He's gonna go down to Challenge League. He's gonna face that stamp. The Stalkers do make their way in, but with 3 Immortals and a 4th one coming.
It's so hard to blink micro against 3 Immortals. They take the Stalkers down so fast. Brings up one down, one after another, along with the Photon Overcharge as well. The Immortals having their way completely, and TAiLS down to 14 supply. There you go, GG. And unfortunately, we will not have TAiLS in the round of 16 live show matches.
Yeah.
For the next.
I think the worst part about all of this is the attempt from him to get to where he was today. The 3 out of 4 qualifiers, the Challenger League qualification, going through Challenger League into Premier. It's a long road for him. And unfortunately, it's come down to an end, and he's in Challenger League once again.
So that means now we have the rematch of MaNa versus TLO. One of the foreign hopes will advance on to the round of 16. MaNa, though, as I said before, he's got a tough road ahead of him.
He does, Kalaris. He does indeed. I mean, TAiLS, sorry, buddy. Unfortunately, not quite making the cut today. You know, he's got great hair, whether it be tomato or strawberry. You take your pick on what you think it actually is. Kalaris knows what he thinks. I know what I think. But at the end of the day, he's in Challenger League. You guys watch Challenger League, find out what you think.
Yep, you'll have to see. Right, okay, we are going to go to a short break, and then when we are back, we shall have the final game of the night. It's going to be TLO versus MaNa to determine who gets that second spot in the round of 16.